But
oh, it looks like it's about to start. Okay.
Miss J. Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. I apologize. We were working on the sound and I'm not sure why things are not working the way they need to. As those of you who work with computers know that sometimes these upgrades that you don't see that Zoom or Google or somebody does, it affects other things. And so I don't know. We were trying to work with the song this morning, and so hopefully I can hear it and you can hear it. So let me go ahead and start with the song, and we will sing that. And let me know if you can't hear it. All right. Let's see if I can. Can you guys see the song?
I think each of us has a different thing going on. Like on my screen, I see the song with an orange box, and somebody else was saying they didn't see that at all.
Okay.
But they can speak
Yeah,
to
for
what
some
their
reason-
situation.
For some reason, it just looked like it's still loading on the share screen. It could be my device.
All right. Let's see. I see it says Mvskoke language program has started sharing, and that's all it shows. Is that what some of you guys are seeing?
Yeah, that's what I see.
Okay, all right. Like I said, this is okay. For some reason, it's not working as it should, and it's been working fine for a while, a couple of weeks, so I don't know what's going on. I know we are having thunderstorms in the area and all throughout Oklahoma. So I don't know if that's an issue or what. And just try to bear with me while I see what if I can all right, get this working. All right, can you guys see that? I can't see it on. I usually have a student logged on over here, but I can't, it's not pulling up for some reason. Can anybody see these, the hallelujah lyrics, words?
I think I might be the only one, but I see the words, but in front of it, an orange screen, like an orange rectangular box that's covering part of the words.
Oh,
But I think
wow.
everybody else is different.
Because like I said, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Let's see. Can you see it now? Wow, okay. I'm not seeing anything on the student screen, but I can see it on my big screen. Let's see. Hold on. Can you guys see it now?
Mine is remaining the same. I don't know about anybody else's.
Okay. Right, hit that, share. Come on. Okay, your screen sharing is paused. Let's see, your Zoom share. There we go, hopefully, yay!
You got it.
Oh my goodness, it's been a Monday. Like I tell you guys, I commute back and forth sometimes, and this morning, coming back from the city, back to Okmulgee, it was just pouring rain and 75, I had to go 50. And then the other day when I was going home, it was so bad that the trucks and everybody scooted over because it was just a pouring rain. And you could just see the rain bouncing off the trucks. Oh, it was kind of scary. I just pulled over, but maybe that has something to do with our screen sharing and internet connection. I don't know, but all right, let me see if we can get this going today, this morning. Those of you who were able to see us working, we were trying to get the sound going. So let me know if you guys can hear this.
Miko salbalge me manapokes. Hallelujah. Miko salbalge me manapokes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kadesh. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All right, Mano, look like it's working now. I have no idea. I had to get Mvhayv Eli to come in here. That's if you guys seen, we were clicking around trying to figure out what the heck was going on. We uploaded the audio again and reattached it, and it just oh. All right. Okay. Let me get out of here. How was everybody's weekend? Happy Mother's Day. Happy belated Mother's Day. I know we just took it easy and we didn't really go out. We just ate in and just had a good family time. Anybody do anything fun? Anybody go and get anything? Anybody get a new car? I know mothers do a lot, and we like to get everything done. So we're constantly thinking and constantly multitasking. All right, let's see what we got here. Week 2, week 3, we're in week 3. All right. So I am going to present how to not do something. We're going to not do something in first person next week. We're not going to do something for second person, and the following week we're not going to do something for third person. And this has a different set of rules. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't see my rules. I noticed if I put things up there, sometimes it doesn't show on my Google Drive on this one, but it shows on my other laptop. Hold on, let me see. All right, so I've got present tense rules. And let's see, I'm trying to see where I'm starting here. What you go? All right. No elevators. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start here. These are the present tense negation rules for first person. All right, remember, it's similar to the steps that we did for what we're doing here and now in the last module. So right now, the first step is no L grading in this one. And I encourage you to print off the handout so you can go over them and go over them when I'm going over them. So for the first thing is no L grading in the present tense negation. You drop the ETB to get the verb stem. And these are familiar steps that we've done before. And then number 2, add the person marker, which is V in present tense negation. It's V means I. It's still you. And for the third person, there's no personal marker, no person marker. And then number 3, add the negation, go or ego. And number 4, add the subject marker T to the infinitive. Add an auxiliary verb, os, am, are, or is. All right, so we're going to acompañada, to play. And here are the steps broken down. So you've got acompañada, to play. You drop the ETB. and you get your verb stem right here. You add your person marker, which in the negation is V, which means I. I have it marked right here. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. So you'll see the notes to the side. And if you need to, print it out and make your own notes, and it helps you to stay on track to what you're doing right now. So, okay, I see what I did. This one I didn't change. I was going through this morning trying to get everything in the same format, but it's still akopan. And then you add your negation. See, so you can write down in changes. It should be AKKOPVNV, and then put the go, KO, KO. Add the negation. So you can see that correction. Actually, I just want to make sure you guys were still following along. So at least that's what I'll tell you. Okay, akopan, akot, you add the T, akot. See, you see how you added the V, you added the KO, and now you're adding the T, the subject marker. We're talking about what we're doing. Akopanakot. And then right here on the next step, add the auxiliary verb, which is am, are, and is. So that's the os. What you come up with, akopanakotos. Playing, I not am. I am not playing. Does anybody have any questions before we go to the next one? That makes sense? I mean, like I said, in the beginning, you have to keep continuing to do this process. So the process is different from the previous process that we learned, which is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm not doing in present tense. All right, so nojira, to sleep. There's no L grading. You drop the ETV to get the verb stem, add the person marker, means I. Add the negation affix, go or ego. Add the subject marker T. Add the auxiliary verb, os, am, are, is. So here we go, we're gonna conjugate, nojira, to sleep. You dropped your ETV. That's where you got your verb stem. And then you add your person marker, which is which is V, noja. You add the go, because we're negation is go or ego. Right now we're adding the go because there's a V. We don't want to create a diphthong. Noja, noja, go. You add your person mark, your subject marker, T, noja, go. And then you add your auxiliary verb, os, am, are, is. Noja, koros. Or you hear noja, got, os. And I know Mvhayv Barnett says sometimes different dialects, different areas, they go noja, got, dos. And it means the same, but it's just the way I learned it is the way I'm showing you. And I think the way she does it may be different. Noja, got, dos. I've seen that in College of Mvskoke Nation, they use dos a lot. But this is the way I learned it. Noja, got, dos. Noja, got, os. Sleeping, I not am. I am not sleeping. All right. Does anybody have any questions? I cannot see anybody. So I can't see if you're raising your hand or anything. I don't even see myself on here. So I'm not sure, if there's something that I needed to do, but it says hide profile pictures and I didn't hit that. But does anybody have any questions? Is this starting to make sense a little bit? Hey. All right, this is what I was looking for. Okay. Like I tell you guys, I like to use the example for Hombeda. And so this is my very first one that I was looking for to show you guys. But we're going to do the rules for present tense negation, no L grading, drop the ETV to get the verb stem, add the person marker, it's, or nothing. Okay, right. It's just like the first module, it'll take a little time to absorb into, somebody's lost. But just keep watching and keep looking at it and it'll start to click. Because right now we're still thinking English rules and English steps. So I'm trying to make it a little, switch your brain from English to Mvskoke. I know they're completely different at times. And some of the rules are not quite all set the same way. But just keep watching it and it'll start to sink in. And that's one of the things I try not to do is try not to overwhelm everybody, because I know sitting in class, I would get overwhelmed, and after so much information, because it's a lot going in. And for me, like I said, I started my language journey in my late 40s. So that's 40 something plus years of English we've got to overcome and switch. The funny thing is sometimes somebody will ask me something in Mvskoke and I know what they're saying and I understand it. And since I had taken a lot of French, my response is English or French. So I'm trying to switch my mind to think Mvskoke first, so I can answer them in Mvskoke. But it's slow because we're surrounded by English all the time. And for some reason, my default is to respond in French, which is pidgin French, because I'm not fluent. I used to be better than I am, but I haven't used French in a while. But okay, but just keep on watching this and keep on seeing the steps. Like I said, I try to break it down to make it easier for everybody. And if I can make it any easier or something you don't understand, just let me know. I don't have all the answers, but I can try to find the answers between all the Mvhayvs. All right. So add the person marker V, which means I in the first person, add the negation affix, go or ego. Add the subject marker T, add the auxiliary verb os, am, are, is, that's what it means. Humbida, to eat. So the first step we have is drop the ETV. Got hum, that's your verb stem. You add your person marker. In negation, your person marker is a V or a. So homba. And then add the negation, which is in this case is go. And then add the subject marker T. And then the last step is add your auxiliary verb with os, am, are, is. So Mvskoke is umbokot os. Eating, I am not eating. Like I said, I show a lot of these because you keep going over it, and it'll eventually sink in. Okay, yakabida, to walk. No L grading in our present tense negation. You drop the ETV, you get the verb stem. ETV, you get the verb stem. Add the person marker. Add your negation, which is go. And then add your subject marker is T or T. And then you add your auxiliary verb, which is os. Yakabakot os. Gabakot os. Walking, I am not walking. Like I said, some people say yakabakot go dos. It's the same thing. You can put the T over on yakabakot, or you can put it over dos. But like I said, I'm showing you guys the way that I learned because it made sense. And once you learn something, it's hard to switch to unlearn it. And if it works, I'm staying with how I learned. I see other Mvhayvs teach it a little different. And like we were talking about regional and the way somebody's taught can be different. Even some of the spellings are different, but that's okay. I don't think any language is exact. There's always differences and regions and dialects differences. All right. Acopanera, to sleep. And this shows you the same steps, but it doesn't have the written part of the rules. But I'm using a little bit more color, so maybe that'll keep you on track, or maybe that'll help for some reason something click inside. Because I know color helps me a lot. It helps me remember things. So you drop the ETV, you get your verb stem. There's your verb stem. Akopan. No L grading. I put that there just to remind you that for negation, present tense negation, there's no L grading. So you won't have to, I'm missing something. I put it there so you're like, no L grading. No L grading in this one. All right. And then you add right here, you add the next step is add the person marker, which is which means I. Akopana. And the next step is add the negation, which is ko or ego. So this one is ko. Akopana ko. The next step is add the subject marker ti. Akopana ko or t. Akopon, and then add the auxiliary verb os, which means am or is. Akopana ko os. Akopana ko os. So you see, this is what I like about the way I was taught, was I know what each thing means now. Instead of just having to say, okay, I know this word, you know, and in the negation means this. Now you can actually see what each part of this sentence means. So there's your verb stem. There's your person marker in the blue. You got your purple, which is negation, go or ego. You got your subject marker T or D. And then you got your auxiliary verb os. Akapana kodos. Akapana kodos. I am not playing. And like I said, I break it down with color because that helps me to keep things straight. And I get so excited to know what people are saying and what part of the Mvskoke word means what. And that's just, I guess I need to know. I guess inquiring minds need to know. All right. Let's see, I think we already did this one. Okay, here we go. Nojida, to sleep. You drop the ETV, you get your verb stem. There's no L grading. You add your person marker. It means I, because we're talking in first person, us, what I'm doing this week. You add your negation, go. It's go or ego, but after the V, it's go. Noja go. You add your subject marker D. Noja go. And then you add your auxiliary verb, which was am, are, is, os. So you conjugated noja go os. Noja go os. So you went from to sleep to I am not sleeping. You got your verb stem in red, your person marker in blue, you got your negation in purple, and there's your subject marker, that's where the T comes from, and the am, are, is, os. Noja go os. Noja go os. All right, anybody have any questions? Like I said, I'm just breaking these down so you guys can see it. I know for me, I'm really visual, so to go step by step and have it broken down and repeating and repeating and repeating is really helpful for me. So I know there are people out there like me who really need these step by step repeating and constantly going over the same things to make it stick. So I hope this is helping other people. If it's not, just hang with me. Things will change. Also, you've got your other Mvhayvs to view because they do things a little different. And if my way doesn't help you understand, then look at somebody else. It's just like in college. You've got your teachers who teach this way, and you're like, I kind of got it. You got your teachers who teach a different way, and you're like, I got a little bit more. And then you got your teacher who's like, oh, right on the money. And you understand exactly what they're saying. That's with everybody. Everybody's different. But I encourage you to watch all of the Mvhayvs. You will learn something in each one of them. And you might learn a way that helps you understand better. But, like I said, just watch everybody and learn, because we're surrounded by English every day, and it's nice to hear our Mvskoke. being spoken. All right, so we got yakabada. Oh, this isn't to sleep. This is I think it's to walk. Let's see. Been doing, yeah, to walk. So those of you who already have it printed, just put to walk, not to sleep. Yakabada. You drop the ETV and it creates the verb stem. There's your verb stem. There's no L grading. You add your person marker, so that means I. You add your negation, which is goal or equal. Right now it's goal. You add your subject marker D. You add your auxiliary verb am, are, is. And here is your conjugated breakdown. Yakaba. Okay, yakaba koros. Sometimes I have to stop, rewind, go back forward. Like yakabada koros. Verb stem, person marker, negation, your subject marker, and your auxiliary verb am, are, is. Yakaba koros. I am not walking. Okay, so that looks like that. I have gone over everything that we are trying to learn this week. Is how I broke everything down. You have the infinitive verbs. Take one of these. And for the infinitive verbs that I did not break down, practice. Just try it yourself. I challenge you guys to practice. To learn something, you have to constantly try. And for me, I know when I was going to college and I had to learn this, I would take, after class, I would go home. In the evening, I would sit there and I would conjugate everything we learned in class. So I wouldn't be behind. And it was kind of funny. Your hand is connected to your brain and it remembers. So you'll have muscle memory. It also helps your brain to remember. And then for those of you who can connect that to hearing how it's spoken, it'll all come into play. I know my husband came in there one time, and this is for our final. And I went from the very beginning of our lessons to the very end of our semester, and I was conjugating everything in first person, second person, third person, present tense, first, second, and third person negation, and then, even future, and then past. I was sitting there doing every single one of them. I think it took many hours to do that. And my husband's like, why are you doing this? And I said, muscle memory. So every time I did it, muscle memory, it reinforced what we had learned in class. I knew how to conjugate it. My hand remembered how to write it. My mind was going over how to say it. So it was like a lot of different things going on at once. And for the final, I would sit there, I don't know how everybody is, but for the final, I would sit there and look at it and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to conjugate this. And then to go further is for each of these conjugations, there's different rules. So you have to remember the rules. And so I would sit there and I would just, all of a sudden, like for a minute, I'd sit there and just be overwhelmed. And then my mind's like, okay, you can do this. You've done this, you've learned this. And muscle memory. My hand remembered how to write things. And that made my mind fire up and say, oh yeah, I got this. And that made my ears thinking, oh yeah, we've already gone over this. So like I said, I challenge you guys to take this, and for the infinitive verbs that we didn't conjugate it. Sit there and play with it, conjugate it. And if you have any questions, we can go over it in class. And we can see if there was any issues, or if you had, if you had something that you just couldn't get over. I would just say, come back in here, ask the questions. Module 2. May. All right, I'm on the wrong week. Sorry. It's been one of those days. Okay, yeah, that's what I got. Hombada, Nojada, Ikabida, Akopanada. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions at all?
I do, Maya.
Okay, go ahead.
And this may have been said before somewhere else, and I just didn't retain it. When you had the third step where you're adding the negation, how do you know which of the two endings is the right ending to add for your verb that you're using to conjugate?
Okay, so let's see. I think on the first person, since right here, it ends in a V, then you're gonna use go. Because you don't add two vowels together, and ego. Because that would create a diphthong like huithada, which is the UE sound. We don't do that. You know, there's some words that already have it, but we don't create more. That's what I was taught. That's why we do, you know, like that and then o. It's VKO instead of VEKO. It's, you don't put two vowels together, two vowel sounds together.
But oh, I think you had said that and I just didn't retain it. So thank you. I was doing the homework and going, wait a second.
That's no worries. Like I said, I had to hear it a lot. I had to go over it. I had to practice everything a lot to start understanding things. You know, you got 40 plus years of English, and all of a sudden now you're trying to learn a different language. And I had already learned a lot of French and trying to learn my language, you know, from a little bit of knowledge that I had was a big switch in thinking. And not only that, is you ask one person over here, how do I do this? And they'll tell you how to do it. And then you ask somebody over here, which is a speaker as well, and you ask them, hey, how do I do this? They tell you a different way to do it. You ask another person, and it's like, so when I went and I learned more academically through college, our Mvskoke language, this is how I learned it by steps. And since I had learned English, you know, this is a verb, this is how we do this, this is the, you know, all through the years, I had to overcome that and think of all of these steps. So to me, steps are easy because that's how we've learned English for the most part. And, you know, we've had to go to school. So this is easier to me than somebody just saying, oh, well, you know, you just add this or you just add that. I like the way that we can break it down, see each little step and know what each part of this means. And you know that I am not eating. And that's one of the other things that I ask you guys is stress is to try to get all of the sounds. Mvhayv Barnett talks about sounds. Try to get that instead of just saying it. And I know I am really good at just rushing through some of the words, but sometimes you just have to slow it down, like os. And once you get used to doing it, it comes smoother, and people can understand that you're, you know, trying to speak our Mvskoke words. So as long as you're trying, nobody really says anything unless you're completely off and you say something like hombagodos, you know. That's obviously not our sounds. Hombagodos. It's just like in French class we had you could say the words, but you had to have the inflections here and there, like merci beaucoup. And then you hear somebody, merci beaucoup. You know, that's a difference. You know, and just like this, hombakot os. Hombakot os. And you can tell the difference between that or hombakot os, you know, something like that. I just say try, if you lose the sounds, go back to our sounds, and you hear Mvhayv Barnett say this all the time. Go back to our sounds and practice. You know, and I have to do this all the time. There's some that really, you know, catch me. So just go back to your alphabet. Ah, G, I, E, B, P, A, E, Lee, me, oh, E, flee or fee, C, T, ooh, we. Now, a lot of things that a lot of people get stuck under the U is the ooh sound, ooh. And then so I get stuck between the U and the V, So just go back, and I have to do this. I have to sit there and like, because your brain will switch back. Your brain will switch back, and sometimes you have no control. Your brain's like, I think I'll go in this direction. You're like, no, we're speaking Mvskoke. Like I. A lot of people say the I sound like hi. It's Hiye. Somebody said hi. And they were talking to me the other day, and I knew what they were saying. They were saying hot. And the I has the A sound. And then she stopped. I didn't say anything. I just smiled at her. And she stopped and she's like, oh, it's hey. And I was like, yep, it's hey. Because the I has the A sound. So she's like, I was saying hi all this morning. And I just realized I was saying it wrong. And I just kind of smiled and shook my head. But we all do that. She said, hey, so she got it right. She corrected herself. I didn't have to say anything. She just was saying it all morning and she realized, hey. So like I said, if you guys have any problems with your with the sounds, losing the sounds, come back. And this is on the Google Drive. Come back to the Mvskoke alphabet. If this one makes sense for you, since we're trying to come from English to Mvskoke, use this Mvskoke sound practice alphabet. Use it every morning or whenever you need to. And if this one makes more sense for you, use this one. You know, this also is the Mvskoke sounds, but it's with Mvskoke words. If you've already captured the sounds in your head and you just need a refresher, just go here. Ah, G, I, E, B, and just go down the list and refresh yourself on some of these vocabulary words that we had before in module 1. And I like the way that you understand what you're saying, like afetchki, happy. To me, I need to know what I'm saying. I don't want to be saying something really kind of sketchy. And just to let you know, and I know people ask me all the time, and people ask other people, all of the other Mvhayvs, what are the bad words? What are the bad words, like the naughty words in Mvskoke? And I heard one of the Mvhayvs, and she was from College of Mvskoke Nation, and she's like, there's no bad words because our Mvskoke language isn't like that. We didn't know bad words. We just knew words. We didn't have bad intent. And if you understand and say our words, you can feel the energy is not really anything bad, but it's sometimes it's sad. Sometimes the sad is encouraging because our ancestors have already been through all of the stuff that they've been through for us to be here. And that's one of the things that gets me excited about teaching is I'm teaching you guys, and you guys carry the ball to the next generation. And I put all of the stuff that I learned trying to switch to Mvskoke brain on the drives. So if I'm not working here, or other Mvhayvs, not working here, you'll have this information to go back and to refer to. And I like I said, I know that you guys have all of these notes that I just put on the Google Drive. Go over that this week and get ready, prepared for class 2. But like I said, if you have to go back and go through the sounds, go through the 2-letter syllables and refresh, do it. I have to do it. And like I said, I make these little, these little games for those of you who don't remember, but I make these little games and I try to remember the sounds by everyday things. Say you have a cat and her name's Iris, A, B, A, C. Somebody named Shay, C, he, ah, E. Or you can put C, he, ah, eh, to throw somebody off. I've done that when I was teaching in person. And then stop sign and a main street. You guys have these. Just practice. Me, me. Okay, the Google link drive. All right, I had it earlier, but sometimes copy link. All right.
Mvhayv,
Yes.
I have like a really, really, really basic question. It's so basic you're gonna laugh, but
Probably
I
not.
saw, I don't know, because I don't really talk to anybody. So Ijo, I saw Ijo, or Hijis, and Sokha, Hijis. So I saw those two, a deer and a wild pig, when we were driving home yesterday. How do I say and? Like I would say, Ijo Sokha, but how do I say, like, do I say and in between those two, or how does that work?
What I remember is Momen, M-O-M-E, M-O-M-E-N, I think Momen is and.
So
But-
so that's appropriate to join it like that, to say like deer and pig I saw. I mean, in other words, that's a way you say that.
Okay. Yes, because the verb comes at the end. So deer and pig I saw. I understand that to be correct.
But no, no, Maya, thank you.
All right, and one of the, I was telling one of the same Mvhayv that was telling me there's no bad words in Mvskoke, and our language and our people were respectful and different than they are now. Right now, a lot of people have learned English and not learned our ways. But I told somebody, I was like, you can always call them a body part. I think that's as bad, but I wouldn't encourage, I think our people lived at a higher standard than we are now, and than anybody is now. Momen or Mon. Yeah, I think Momen is the one I heard. Mon. I think Momen or Mon. So that's in the chat. I will clarify that, and I will post that on the next class. And Amy, we did look at your question. I did ask Mvhayv Barnett, and we were just kind of not sure what you were trying to say. But she had a different word than you used. But if you could just write in chat what you were trying to say about Kibala. I think you were talking about my red strawberry or the red strawberry. But anyway, I haven't forgotten about that question. We were just trying to figure out what you were trying to say, but Mvhayv Barnett was throwing different words for the same meaning. And it wasn't the vocabulary word, so we weren't familiar with that. I told her, we're just trying to do simple sentence to begin with, and then we're trying to work our way up to do more. If you can understand how to conjugate your infinitive verbs to what's going on now, and then what we are not doing, and then we go further for the next other modules. As long as you know how to conjugate, you know what's happening in the sentence. If it's the big red strawberry, I am eating the big red strawberry, or I am eating five peaches. I am eating, you'll know that part, or he is eating, or you are eating, or she is not eating 5 strawberries, she's eating 10. So this is just a step and a tool to go in your toolbox to know in a sentence. If you don't understand the complete sentence, you'll at least know some of these conjugations. You'll know the tense I, he, she, it, or even talking about you were doing something. So what we're doing right now with all the Mvhayvs, we're trying to give you all these little pieces of the puzzle, so you can understand what people are saying, you can understand what you're reading, and then you can also understand how to say it. I know for me to say some of these things is harder than writing it and reading it, because you think about the tones, and I get so excited sometimes I rush, and they just like, okay, slow down, you just missed it. Or like something easy like hi is hey, because your brain flipped in the middle of conjugating or in the middle of thinking of Muskogee or saying Muskogee, your brain's all excited and flips around and you just kind of have to chill it out for a bit and just say, you know, we're thinking Muskogee, we're going to do Muskogee. And if you, like I said, if you need to refer back to the alphabet, refer back to the alphabet. You know, even I'm gonna tell you, even some of the first speakers were like, we're sitting there and we're talking about ooh, you know, we're doing that. And sometimes we get out these books. So it's not, you know, just us beginners who are doing that. It's some of the speakers as well, because, you know, even their brain flips back to English. Oh, snap, that's not right. So, you know, if you guys do that, I know I do that, not a big deal. Just, you know, refresh and go forward as long as you're going forward. All right, that's all I have for you today. I ask you guys to look at the infinitive verbs. I put the drive up here for you guys to see, and I try to put the drive where you can see module 1. Come on, module 1 as well, because you know, there's some things that we went over in module 1, just like some of the steps and some of the vocabulary words that we're going to be using. So just go back and forth about module 1. We did, and Amy, this is for your suggestion for beads. We did look up beads. I do have our archives looking for words or stories for beads. And if anybody has a Creek story, say your grandmother, your mother was helping you bead and you have a story to go along, just, you know, shoot me an email, give us a call and just share that, and we can make that word of the day. We're trying to make it something that you guys are interested in. And like I said, we have a website that is being built to put all of this, all of the resources in one area. So that'll make it for you easier for you guys to learn the Muskogee language. I know for a fact in my lifetime, the Muskogee language will not die out because I will still keep practicing. I'll be 220 and still say some Muskogee words, but it will not die out with me. And I encourage you guys to keep practicing. If anybody knows of a Muskogee conversational Facebook or any group online, I ask that you put that in the chat. I know there are people when I teach in person on Friday, they want to actually be able to use what they're learning, because a lot of us are not around Muskogee speakers. If you guys have any kind of insight on a group or anything, just put it in the chat or share it, or even call or email me, and then we can get that out there and see if we can create, if you guys create a group, see if we can just get everybody together and talking and trying to just remain in Muskogee. And I like an immersion. I know that's how I learned easier and faster for French, but French is a little bit more out there in the world than Muskogee. But if you guys know of a Facebook or a group that speaks Muskogee, even for those of us who are still learning it, just to hear it is good. All right. And if nobody has any questions, that's all I have for you. Like I said, I encourage you and challenge you guys to try these steps. Next time, next class period, I will make a blank one of these. So if you need to, just print it out and you will be able just to like fill in the blanks. Once you start learning how to conjugate, it's going to come easier when you're speaking and when you're thinking after you've written it a few times. All right. Now, if there's no questions or comments, I'm going to say Chihichikov, please. And I will see you guys later. See you guys Wednesday.
Mado, Maya.
Hey, all right, Mado. I enjoy our times. I'll see you guys Wednesday.